Hello, Leo. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so let's talk about 2023 and what is going on. The main concept that you're missing is that you got to get slinky and soft and kind and be quick. And some cultures, they consider a rabbit year also the year of the cat. And, you would think, well, Leo would do very well in the year of the cat. Seems to be a match. But it can't be. Because there is a very big difference between the way that you are constructed and how this year works. So it's very subtle, it's in between. It is not for you to decide sometimes how things happen. They happen really quick. It is not about having control or power or meaning. So after this very feline, actually, and aggressive year of Tiger, 2022, we're going into this wispy, kind, sensitive, and very, very subtle year of Rabbit. And we have to be so good to you, and we have to be so kind because everybody's also counting on you. So after 22, you might have grown yourself a thicker skin. You might have gone really, really into just the one thing or the one direction. It's very likely that a lot of Leos have achieved a once in a lifetime opportunity or just wanted that one thing in their life, or eventually boiled down to a one type of person, tribe, or personality. But this is not where the story ends. No, you don't just get to like stand there in front of people and saying, hey guys, this is the world that I want to live in, or this is the worth, because we still have to achieve something together with you. People really want you to succeed, but they're not that helpful, healthy, or nice sometimes. And look at how far we come. Maybe you and I don't care about what that means. So you might not actually necessarily care about how it looks on you, or how people do or do not care about you, or what they do or do not represent to you. It's just more or less kind of like a kind of, how can I say, like a psychically uncomfortable time, because more and more people are going to put little tags on you energetically. They want to desire things from you. They want to exhibit things in front of you. They want you to give them or lend them something. They want your choices to be correct so they get what they want in their life. And that really sucks, because not many people really want to be relied on that much, but you are. And the hardest thing is that sometimes you won't know what is going on until the end. It's like you don't know what's up until somebody tells you at the end, or until you see the paperwork, or you see some kind of news, or you catch on at the end sometimes in certain parts of your story, parts of your life. And this is definitely one of those parts where you're like, I didn't know that was the deal. It's like, oh my gosh, I completely like I missed the point, or I didn't read the fine print. And that's the thing that Leo has to do a lot about later on. Sometimes I didn't read the fine print. I didn't catch on the subtleties. I didn't check the paperwork. I didn't double read it. I didn't think that's what it was going to do. I didn't think that's exactly what I needed to do. I actually wasn't sure. So the thing is to be very, very good and not regretful by reading the fine print, getting very, very conscious and happy about your life, about your country, about things that stimulate you, and your stimulus that you're choosing during this time is great. It's just more important for all of us that you are doing okay, and also other people have to butter you up. People have to pay you more. People have to, so name your price if you want to. People have to do more for you and around you. People have to maybe bug you a little bit about where they're going, what they're wanting to do, because they're the ones that need you maybe more than you need them. So you might not actually have to go and do the same thing as everybody else. It's kind of unlikely that Leo will be caught up in too much conformity for too long a time. Unlike Virgos or Capricorns, I think that you might not actually be able to like sit there and wait it out. Sometimes you might want to do something else. So in my case also, looking at me, because I'm a Leo rising here in Peru, there's like quite a lot of work already in front of us. There's quite a lot to do, and you might not get to make all of it. You might not get to see all of it come through. You might not be a part of every single cause and effect or action, but you might be the only person that sometimes people want to know or know something about. And it's difficult for us if we have too many keys to too many hearts or too many stories. So it's like you're able to open things for people rather than thinking or counting on them opening things for you. So it's more like you have quite a lot of risk taking also to take, and quite a lot of things to tackle if you really want to give it your all, if you really want to improve. But there are a lot of us that are fine. It's like, fine, you're just basically going through your work, throwing things around, doing your thing. So I feel that not every Leo has to really try so hard, but the worst thing is the subtleties and not knowing or not realizing or not being open enough to really understand how things are. But it's like the weather's not asking you guys to change or to go into a very big transformational conscious world like a lot of the other signs. I feel that it's basically asking of us, of Leos, more like we need to dream. And I also think that some of you guys are very unbelievable and very nice and clean and conscious, and you don't really need to do a lot, and your innocence and naivety really works beautifully this time, even though it might be kind of like sad eventually. It's like, wow, I didn't catch on, I didn't see the fine print. But there is a way that Leos are guided away from darkness or worthlessness through their heart. So the ability of being yourself and the ability of being kind, conscious, and not mean anymore is basically the way. It's the key. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I think quite a lot of people out there are going to get like the best for their life. They're going to get the best of choice just simply because you are you, and you are simply young and fresh and gorgeous, and probably every single person simply wants you to succeed. And this means that you're like power because of your heart, or you are in power because of just the warmth and the kindness and the consciousness that you simply cannot help but give. And then quite a lot of people are going to be inappropriate and distance and not going to be in your story. And I do understand that a lot of other people aren't going to be able to share things with you, and they cannot be a part of your wealth. So to me, like Leo is like a wealthy, wholesome, well-to-do and established person that might not fully understand things yet, or might not fully respect things yet, but something is in your favor. It is just going to be so good to be still and kind, and in a way lead by example and be a hallmark to maybe other people's lives, and maybe, yeah, so many other people's lives in the future, because it's not just about me and you and how well we do. It's also about directing energy and changing lives. And I think that a lot of people that have a lot of Leo, like a lot of outcome seeking also, they need to just stop and wait and be graced. So to me, it looks like a nice, safe, simple, homely, kind, gentle, and maturing time. And I feel that you have like a certain time of care and need, and being in need also, and also needing other people to be needy of you. In a way, it all just works out. So it's like honey. It smells like honey. It's beautiful. It's laid back. It's lazy. You might be a lot lazier than some people out there. And it feels like it's making other people feel worth, and it gives people hope and regularity of spirit, and a certain type of kosher naivety and comfort. But you don't need to know anything else, and that's really weird when you don't know what you're standing on and it only gets revealed afterwards. It's like you've been a part of this and you didn't know, or like you have been doing this and you didn't know, and it's just difficult. But there are ways in which you don't have to really be uncomfortable about these lessons. You don't have to be confronted so much. It's like other people don't really know how to do it for you unless you pay attention and start respecting them. So I think that is good that you have like a certain air of ego or arrogance maybe this year and the coming years as well. It's just in a way about diluting it a little bit and helping other people be comfortable or understanding how other people's worlds work. But it's just so hard to do that. It's so heavy. So world cannot really ask of you that much. It's like, oh, relax, like that's a Leo, like, won't understand what's going on, until it's time. And sometimes it's not very hard to be in that place, actually. It's like people let you go. It's like even if you get pulled up by the cops, they somehow work it out, and they'll like be like, okay, it's okay, like, you know, you're a child, you know, or they'll be like, oh, it's okay, it's just a person that doesn't really understand. So it's like a very nice way to get let off and be free. And not a lot of us Leos have a lot of responsibility outside of just glowing. So the idea is not to be tortured by what you have to do, and not to try so hard to gain respect by something that you're doing and providing, making for other people. I feel that the concept here is basically by being in the know and in the glow. So if you're a glowing human and you just know yourself, and you understand your needs, and you understand your country, or you understand your spirit, and you feel so good about who you are, it is going to be a showcase in front of you. And I feel that a lot of you guys could be very confused, sometimes very confused, and the show in front of you improves your life. So maybe other people will help you. Maybe a very good for you Virgo, or a very needy Piscean or something, are going to make you see the story as right. Like, they're going to make it more than correct. They're going to make it obvious and beautiful. It's just not going to be that powerful for you sometimes to be there with them. And it's hard to count on people. It's like you are that center point, or you are that innocence that it takes, or like that security blanket that other people seek during a needy year like that. But it's going to be very, very hard to be without it all. So if you say, oh my gosh, I'm so confused, everything's so confusing, everybody's just talking too fast, and everything is just like too much, you might not be able to walk into those doors. So what I mean, it depends on your capability of being present and being available. So you have to be available, constantly available to help people. It's like a galaxy that turns around you, and you have to constantly trust people to know who they are, to be around themselves, even based on your prototype of behavior. People are counting on you, they're like double checking with you, and it feels like they all want you to be happy during these times, but it's just going to get so amazingly uncomfortable sometimes. Like, everybody talking too fast, everybody's making fools of themselves, or making some crazy things happen. So we have to somehow find some archaic root system. So if you have a ancestral connection to like the Vikings, or the Slavs, or Scandinavian peoples, or you come from Africa, or you come from China, or any other place, if you're a native to Australia, perhaps, having to come back to that root system, and then like being an okay person just with yourself, to yourself, and being meaningful to yourself based on who you are and where you come from. So you can't afford to change as much as other people. There will be a lot of tipsy-turvy behavior. There will be people laughing and doing facetious things, and there's a lot of craziness out there. But I don't think that you can afford to succumb to craziness and emotional culture. It's like mulling through, okay, what have you got to do, what have you got prepared for you. It's like mulling through the grains, like mulling through an orchestrated mission, doing something for another person, being there, breaking free eventually out of all of those bonds and binds by just following pattern and having certain type of kindness and humility about you. And that's really difficult sometimes to establish. And it's kind of like really difficult also for you maybe to breathe, or just to live through this year, because there's just like so much chock-a-block and kind of pushed around you. It's not very easy to establish yourself in a nice spatial way, to be able to feel free and like the breath, like a breath of fresh air. It's not very easy to basically feel significant or kind enough. And sometimes you might be asking, what are these people planning against me, or like what are they choosing apart from me? And paranoia and jealousy can happen. And also, not a lot of people know that about you, but you could be very uncoordinated underneath all of this, or you could be very confused or confusing as a person. And then there are many people that can help you and answer your call or help you improve your dream. It's just going to be very hard for you to be able to be around those people. It's like hiring somebody unbearable to help you with like some unbearable means. It's like hiring somebody who will just like put you through the grinder having a helper that doesn't help you at all, or having an employer that doesn't understand what you're saying. So it's a very frustrating time, but you have to keep still and keep evolving in your own unconscious patterns. Still being kind, still having humility, still understanding that this is not be all end all. External appearances are not the whole thing. Like, say, being mean to people is not going to help you. What is karmic, what is wrong, what is not good, or like not good enough for you. So circulating energy in a more conscious, productive, and practical way. But then I understand not a lot of people are going to have to go the way that you're going by the end of the year. So come September, it's just going to be like goodbye. So I feel that the first part of the year, from March till September, because I believe the year starts in March, so equinox till equinox, I feel that you're going to get so many things, so many reasons, so many helpings, and so many doings. It's going to be quite homely and humbling. And then eventually it's like, don't worry about it. So that's the hardest thing sometimes for a Leo person to go through. Like, when you were and you have been and you tried and you wanted to help or you wanted to evolve somebody else, and then they just don't end up happening for you. So it's like growing something that doesn't happen, or healing people that eventually want to go off and do something completely different. So it's like little birdies, leaving the nest. And you might not get that interested about things, so you might not be very fond about like how things are, how things were, and then not many people can help you grow. It's going to be very, very hard, and I feel that not many people are going to be able to be excited or enticed about you unless you really have it right. It's like a competition question mark. And if I were you, and I kind of am because I have Leo ascendant in Peru, I would definitely take the first half of the year, or even as soon as now, like now till like September, to make a nice simple presence and to constantly consciously support other people and yourself, and being guided and being wholesome and being good and very nice and warm and loving. And then as September ends, you might get absolutely nothing, like, say, having no money come from your project, or having no skill to offer the world even, or having nonsense situations. So when you lose pride or you lose respect, sometimes it happens for very big reasons. So I very much suggest you take pictures and photos and remind yourself, commemorate yourself, like, I've done a really good thing, I'm gonna take a note of that, or like, I'm gonna get a trophy for this, that's fantastic, I'm going to put it somewhere visible, or like, I'm going to make a lot of friends out of this, good, or like, I'm going to be, somebody's best friend here, or I'm going to take a photo of this amazing, memorable occasion. Try to warm your heart, like, try to warm yourself as much as you can in the first part of the year. And as we hit about September's end, we're going to grow through some very hard things, you guys. And Dragon Year is going to come with a big promise and a big escape. And you're going to be asked, okay, look, did you want this or that? Like, it's just going to be like, hey, like, let's find something else to do. So it's going to be very fetching and very fast, and the energy is going to change. But before it does, you're going to have to lose quite a bit of things. It's very easy to be lost, to see yourself as a loss or like a loser in the game, to not feel very good about yourself or how far you've come. And then eventually what I see is that the world is going to change, and the cause and effect is going to get very, very obvious and very black and white, and very colorful as well. And some things are wishing for you to survive, but there's also like extremes. It's like, come on, like, get in the car, there is a big reason why Leos like to live sometimes, and what they like to be or what they like to do in their life. And that's going to basically end all speculation about who you are, who you were. So it's going to be a little bit aggressive, but I do understand some people are going to be less than enticed by your real choices, real personality, and real truths coming through in the end of the year. At the moment, it's going to be just like, I'm wholesome and humble and caring, la-di-da-di-da. And it is real, that is real. But then there's going to be a next level presence or a next level situation, and you're going to have to bow out, or there's going to be a way that you won't be able to make it unless you go for the fast route. So it's like a preparational phase, and then eventually I see you just zooming out the door and leaving most of it behind, which is a really big sign of success. But it doesn't come without pain, or heartache, understanding that something had to die so you could live, or something like that, is going to be quite a big change and quite a big number that life can pull on some of you guys. So it's going to be quite an ecstatic or maybe even vengeful or emotional ending to the year. So be careful with your time and your money. Try to save, try not to go into reactivity, don't ask what people are up to, try to just like stay wholesome. And if you can imagine, just like cultivating this beautiful light and this air of you, and this air of you, and then eventually as we come to the end of the year, it's not going to be able to be on that level. So it's basically you're cooking yourself in a way, or you are trying to mature yourself, or suffice as you are, and it might be quite a stilling for some people, and then eventually something will let go, or something will push, like there'll be like an accelerator pedal, and you'll have to leave, and maybe you'll have to bounce with completely different people, or change your personality or your energy in a very quantic way come December's end, 2023. So thank you very much, and also please have a look at the next little announcement here. If you'd like more insights on this year to come, please check out my Almanac for 2023. It has all the information for all signs, and it is available in Kindle book form and physical book form as well. And also, if you like, have a look at my Patreon with all the details for every sign, for every month, and day-to-day prognosis. And yes, my website, of course, where you can read more about me, and if you like, you can get a booking as well. And yes, I do year ahead readings, which are very popular every year. And here's my retreat website. If you're curious about coming to see me in Peru, then yes, of course, please like and subscribe. Thank you.